goes by the name of Mr. Calvin Hutchins. Welcome to the show.
Baby, gonna feel alright. I'ma put your hands up high. You need to know one thing about you. I shine so bright. 'Cause I shine.
Welcome everybody to the Lavish Show. I am Dr. Shira Stallworth. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Shira Stallworth. We also have a new episode of the Up Close with the Prophet show coming out, so you don't want to miss that either. But on today's show, we will have film directors, producers, movies, and actors all on the set today. So sit back and relax and enjoy the Lavish Show. Welcome back, everybody, to the Lavish Show. I am Dr. Shira Stallworth. Thank you for tuning in. On today's show, we have a very special guest by way of California. His name is Mr. J. Ashton. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. He is by way of California. He's a film producer, director, actor, and we're going to get into that today. Tell our audience who you are. What are you doing? Let us know what's up with J. Ashton.
Well, my name is Joshua Ashton. I go by Jay. Friends call me Jay. So, but yeah, I'm originally from Los Angeles, California. I was born and raised out there. Not trying to give away my age or none, but you know, I was born in 1980 out there. So in the 80s, it was pretty rough out there. You know, that's when you know, the riots were going on with the Rodney King thing and all that kind of stuff. You know, a lot of gang activity, a lot of. I, however, had a very unique upbringing. You know, my mother was a single mother. I've never met my real father, the person who came into my life. That kind of filled that void for me. We'll talk about it here in a minute. But she was a single mother. You know, my grandmother helped raise me a lot and stuff. And so yeah, it was tough out there. But my grandfather was one of Bruce Lee's best friends.
Wow.
So you know, I was around that whole martial art world. You know, my upbringing and stuff in my childhood. So you know, that I was exposed to a lot of you know, celebrities and in the world of the martial arts and stunts and all that kind of stuff. So you know, I you know, always had a passion for because I mean, I was around it, so it was really natural to me. And being around all those guys, you know, I was kind of like a little star in the making, you know. And but you know, at a certain point, my mother met an individual, you know, named Miss Dominick Montiglio, which I'll get into in a minute, but he moved out to Florida and she followed him, and I obviously, you know, had to go along with it. So that took me out of California, which probably was my saving grace at the time, because it was either I was going to be a movie star or spending time behind bars, which I ended up doing anyway. But we'll talk about that.
So that's a little bit about your upbringing. You know, born and raised from Cali. You know, get into that. So your grandfather was best friends with Bruce Lee. That's amazing.
Well, he was one of Bruce Lee's original students and friend of the family, really close friend of the family. And I didn't find out how close he was until I actually went to the memorial, which was one of the saddest days and most awesome days of my life, because all my life he had been telling me about Bruce and this and that. We were around, you know, the people that they trained with and all this stuff, but I never actually met the Lee family until the day that we had the memorial in Chinatown in Los Angeles, and Linda, Bruce's wife, came. Shannon, Bruce's daughter, you know, Brandon obviously had passed away, which I knew. He was very dear with the family, and so they came and told stories and stuff, and they were telling about my grandfather, and I was just like, damn, he was really part of the family. Like, he was, you know, so
That's amazing. Okay, so your saving grace, like you moved from Cali, moved from there to Florida. Tell us about your experience in Florida.
So my mother was, you know, chasing a guy out to Florida, which ended up being the guy who kind of took on that role as a father figure to me.
Okay.
His name was Dominick Montiglio. I say was, he just recently passed away, which is really hard thing for me to go through here just recently. It's still on the surface and a little hard to talk about, but he filled that void for me. It might not have been the most healthy relationship at first, because he was actually a former mafioso, and he was with the Gambino family, and he took I know, right? So he's got a book written about him. You know, it's called Murder Machine, and he's just watch any of the documentaries from back in the day, or up to this point anyway, on A&E, History Channel, Fox, I mean, any documentary about the Mafia, they were interviewing him, you know, and stuff like that. So
Really?
he kind of took me under his wing, you know, when I didn't have that father figure when I was in Florida, and kind of, I guess maybe he saw me out there kind of just thugging it anyway.
Yeah.
So he kind of just said, you know what, here, come here, you wanna be a gangster, you wanna be a tough guy, well, I'm gonna show you how to do it. And he did, and unfortunately it led to me being locked up for, I got sentenced to 3 years, but I only spent a year and a half, and so that was, you know, an unfortunate thing. But also when I got out, he also saved my life in a way, because I'm sitting here trying to prove to this guy what kind of because I didn't have a father, so I'm trying to get some validation, you know, a pat on the back, you know, from a father figure, and I'm sitting here doing whatever he wanted me to do, you know, even in the, you know, growing up under that gangster, you know, mentality. I was down to do whatever, which I did, but even after I got out, I wanted to show him, you know, I'll do whatever, you know, like you wanted me to join the military, okay, I'll do that too.
Yeah.
So I did, and that ended up saving my life. You know?
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Well, that's a very, you know, interesting testimony.
Yeah.
You know, you can go so many ways with that. You know, when I met you, I can tell that you were packing some stuff.
Yeah.
You know, when I first met you on set, because I was like, he is not an ordinary man. There's something about him. There's something going on, you know, with his life. Besides, I didn't even know that you was in that movie, you know, Sword of the Spirit, until I seen something on WLOX, you know, a little interview piece, and I put 2 and 2 together, and I was like, that's the guy, you know? So I was like, I gotta get him on the Lavish Show, because he has something that he can reveal to our audience to help them, you know, with their life. So, you know, even talking about your father, you know, the one that you call a father figure, you know, about the mafia and things like that, that is so real. And, you know, I'm thankful that you're here today sharing your testimony. You already said that, you know, it was a give and take relationship. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Also a saving grace. So go a little bit more into that with details. What do you mean by that, you know?
Well, you know, and I don't know where we, again, I don't know where we left off, what was the last thing I said, but, you know, if you want to go into further detail about knowing that whole backstory about Dominick Montiglio and my relationship coming up under him and getting schooled in that life and so on and so forth, before he passed away, I went out to New Mexico, and I went to sit and was kind of the median of his last interview that he did with Discovery Channel, and it was on Discovery ID. It was a podcast, and I sat there, and I finally got to tell my side of the story. So they interviewed me for 6 hours, and I'm actually, you know, if you go to Mafia Tapes on Discovery ID on the podcast, I'm on episode 4, and the last episode after he passes away, they reached back out, and I kind of, you know, wanted to see how we were doing and everything like that. But on episode 4, you'll hear in depth, you know, from A to Z, how my whole story played out with growing up under Dominick Montiglio. So that's that. But yeah, I joined the military, you know, under his dare. He dared me to do it. You know, he's like, you know, I see you running around here with these, you know, half tough guys. He's like, why don't you do something real, like do some real man stuff? And I'm like, what you want me to do?
Right.
And he's like, you know, join the military, do something. You know, I'm like, all right, I'll do that. And I was tipsy at the time, you know, and so when I woke up, I woke up to a knock at the door, and all of a sudden I woke up and I'm hungover, and I look at the door and there's a recruiter there, and I'm like, what the hell did I say last night? I'm like, I said, oh man, I said, all right, come on. So we came in, and I said, you know what, I'm headed right back into the streets. This is after I got out of jail.
Wow.
I said, if I don't do this now, you know, I'm gonna be in trouble. I said, let me go ahead and just do this. So I joined, and that definitely saved my life. So shout out to the U.S. Navy and my brothers and sisters in the Seabees. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So tell our audience, you know, from that, your life with your, you know, your father, and the life being incarcerated, you know, all the tragedies and things that you may have been through. How did that spark you wanting to know who you were? You know, like coming into the man that you are today with acting and filming and producing. What sparked that interest?
So, you know, being out here on the Gulf Coast, where I ended up in the military in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Wow, okay.
And so that's where I spent my time. I did 8 years from 2000 to 2008. And I did the whole time with the Navy Seabees. Once again, shout out to my brothers and sisters. But so I spent my time, with them, and got out in 2008. And I always wanted to pursue something in the movie industry because I'm from that. I've been around it my whole life. But me being out here on the Gulf Coast, I thought it was just too far-fetched to consider pursuing something like that.
Yeah.
Because I thought in my head everything is out in LA.
Yeah.
Come to find out, there's a lot going on out here.
Yes.
So I hear that there's, this Holywood South, and I'm like, is that right? I'm like, okay, what's going on right here? So, and then I got my kids at the time. I didn't have custody of them. So if I left to pursue it, I'd be leaving them. And because I grew up without a father, I wasn't going to do that. So I vowed to just stick around here and be there for them. So I eventually ended up getting custody of my daughter. I have, and she prayed for me about that one because she just turned 13.
Okay,
so
I got you.
Love you, Unique.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if I left, I'd be leaving them. That wasn't an option, so I stuck around, and so I figured, okay, well, let me figure out what's going on out here and see if this new Holywood South talk around here is worth sticking around maybe and pursuing. So I started dibbling and dabbling into it, and then I went out to Baton Rouge and was part of the Greyhound, which was with Tom Hanks, and that was kind of like a featured background role.
Right.
And while I was on there, which I encourage anybody that's trying to get into the movie business and stuff like that, outside of the protocol and some of the safety procedures that you got to go through on set nowadays with the whole COVID thing, which is a mess because you got to be masked up and shielded and this and that. I don't know if they've loosened it up recently or not, but it's a headache. But I mean, if you just get yourself out there on set, networking, have somewhat of the gift you have, to kind of just build relationships with. Because when I was out there doing the Greyhound, that's where I met and ran into an individual that was the medic on set for everybody who was a Baton Rouge firefighter, and he ended up introducing me to Vincent Perry. Shout out to my boy.
Wow.
I ended up being casted for the main villain of Life That Shoots, which you can watch on Prime Video now, and stuff like that. So after that, it just one thing led to another.
It just went on and on and on.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So acting is in your blood. Gangster life is in your blood.
Anyway, I'm trying to,
I'm just messing with you. But you're well-rounded is what I'm getting at. You're well-rounded, and so you find yourself in Mississippi through the military, Gulfport base. You start making connections. I like what you said. Start having to give a gab to get yourself out there.
Right.
So you becoming into this man. What do you think about what you're becoming? Like, you into this acting now.
Yeah.
What's making you right?
So my kids definitely, are grounding me, keeping me grounded because every day it's a struggle. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, even when you I'm a born again Christian and I am fully, with my relationship with the Lord, chasing after, being as Christ-like as I can on a daily to have something for my kids to model off of, instead of being that role that kind of was in my life, just veered me in the wrong direction because I know what that leads to. And anybody watching, it's not worth it. That's for sure.
That's
right. You see the glitz and the glamour and the even with the music today and the entertainment that's illustrated on screen and social media. I mean, it's the devil is alive. But he's just all over the place.
He's busy.
Just
working.
Oh my God, just feeding it to whoever wants to just eat it up, and it's just so me, trying to be the man that wasn't there for me. I'm trying to be now for my children.
That's right.
And that's just what I'm trying to live by. I mean, every day, like I said, is a struggle to stay on track because what I grew up with, it's still there. And it's just I have to keep it in check on a daily, especially with my daughter and my sons, both my sons, Carlo and Nigel. Love y'all. But for my daughter, statistically, they say, and I know firsthand from my mother, her father not being in her life. And there's a lot of women that I've kind of came in contact with along the way that don't have that father figure in
That's
their life.
right.
They
That's right.
definitely tend to veer off track, you know, without a. So I definitely have to be there, you know, for my kids in general, but you know, definitely for my daughter.
Wow.
So I'm definitely trying to hold it down. Anytime I feel that old me pulling in the direction, it's like, you know, I just know if I mess up in any kind of way, you know, I'm leaving these kids to fend for themselves, and that's what I had to do, and that's not even an option for me. So.
Well, you know, on today, you know, I really feel in my spirit the topic of saved by grace, saving grace. So, you know, and you carry that, a saving grace.
Thank
You know, I believe it's, yes, you carry the saving grace. So, you know, when people come in contact with you because of what you've been through, you know, that grace will exuberate from your life on theirs.
That's
so,
what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping.
I love it, and we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Mr. Ashton about the Sword of the Spirit movie. Hey, this is Shira from the Lavish Show. If you would like to be our guest, advertise your business, or even run your commercial, please contact us at creativewomenenterprises@gmail.com. We would love to showcase what you do to the world. We even have sponsorship packages available. So please contact us today at creativewomenenterprises@gmail.com. Welcome back, everybody, to the Lavish Show. I'm sitting with actor, Lord, preacher,
I'm just.
everything and above. Come on now, with Mr. Joshua Ashton. He goes by Jay. So let's get into the movie that you have written and producing now, Sword of the Spirit. Tell our audience a little bit about that and how that came about.
Okay, so the movie is called Sword of the Spirit. It's an actual on-stage. It was originally an on-stage production that me and my family did in 1991. I was like 11 years old. So I hold it very near and dear to my heart, you know, because not only because my family came together, it was my uncle who played the main character. It was an on-stage production that we performed at in front of a live audience that was televised on the Christian Network channel, and it was an hour of it was 2 hours of Christian entertainment, and we were one of the acts, and it was called Sword of the Spirit, and the message was behind it, which is what I've been holding on to all these years, and the Lord's not allowed me to forget about, is because everybody and anybody can relate to this. Man, woman, race, I don't care what race, creed, or ethnicity.
Right.
Anybody can relate to the fight that we fight every day of some unforeseen force that we're trying to get somewhere, and things are working against us on the daily. And it's that good fight, you know what I'm saying? So it's spiritual warfare.
Spiritual warfare.
Spiritual warfare is very real. And so I took that message, which is essentially an individual that you see come on the stage, and there's no dialogue in it, but you can see clearly what's going on.
Right.
So an individual comes up, you know, it's played by my uncle, and you just see, you know, there's dramatic music and stuff. So you see this guy that's just, or girl, going through these things, and that's just, you know, they're feeling the wear and tear of life, and it's getting to them, and you know, they're just feeling beat up and just, you know, struggling with everything, and she's coming from every which way. They don't know what's going. They're getting attacked and beat up, and they can't see what's going on because they're without God and they're without the Lord's guidance. So they're just they can't see and you know, recognize where it's coming from. So they continue on, and here we come up on stage, the demons. You know, we creep up and we start beating and tearing on, pulling on and stuff, and then all of a sudden, boom, the light shows up. We creep off, and the Lord, you know, the Lord shows up. After he finally surrenders and submits himself, we creep off, and he's at that point given the sword of the Spirit to be able to, which is in essence the Word of God. So this is now the weapon that we use to defend ourselves against these things that come into our life that we can't see. So, you know, you're able to now defend yourself from them and not acknowledge them from what they are, and be able to decipher what's going on in real time in your life, and be able to come out victorious over the principality of darkness. You know what I'm saying? So that message I've been carrying with me for a long time, and I've been so proud of that performance, that not only because I was a part of it, but because this needed to get out to the masses. You know? Because especially nowadays, there's so much going on, and it's so prevalent what the enemy's doing here. And you know, at least people who are aware of what's going on, that it's coming from every which way at the kids and our culture and society, and nobody seems to. I mean, they're just saying, well, the world's messed up and there's a lot of stuff going on. No, I'll tell you what it is. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
it's the enemy.
Oh no, for sure, it's at work overtime. So I'm trying to, with this film, take that message. And I'm pertaining it now to people, places, and things and events that have happened in my life.
Right.
And putting it up on the screen. So yeah. So that's so. I was in film school, and one of my assignments was to write either a 30-page short film or a 30-page first act of a feature film.
Okay.
So because I eventually knew that I wanted to take this and do something with it eventually, and people who have been doing it for a lot longer than I have told me and recommended me to, on your first projects, do a small film, do a short film, do a documentary, do something small to kind of get acclimated with the process.
Right.
So you're not, overwhelmed with all this, doing a feature film at first. So, I tried to do that with that in mind, and write a short film, but then by the time I was at 30 pages, I wasn't done telling my story. So I said, okay, well, you know what, let me just go ahead and make this the first act of a feature film. So I wrote it, and it sat on the shelf for some years.
That's what it does.
And then COVID hit.
Wow.
And then that's when the Lord said, it's time to get it out. So I literally got behind the computer, and this is when I'm going in. I'm in a relationship that I'm literally living out what I'm typing as I speak. I'm getting attacked, by getting accused, and I'm like, I mean, this is crazy. I'm writing what I'm actually going through right now. So it literally, some of it actually was getting typed up. I'm writing what I'm experiencing in real time. Anyway, I eventually, I got to 120 pages, and I said, they say, per the screenwriting guides of whatever, that it's supposed to be a minute a page if it plays out how it's supposed to be. Right? So a minute a page, 120 pages, that's 2 hours, and I'm like, I'm still not done. What do I do here? I can't write that. I'm like, what am I doing? So the Lord just said, just get it out, get it out. So I got it out, and it was therapeutic at the same time, because these are actual arguments that I've had with my mother. These are actually, my mother was, God bless her, I love you to death, but I had to go through a lot of stuff with that alcoholism thing. With her. And then my father, there's a character that portrays him in the film, with that influence, that influence and stuff, and in the streets, of course, that I'm ripping and running, and that are pulling me in directions that I had just had to kind of, overcome a lot of this stuff. So, so I wrote the film, ended up with a 180-page script, and then at that point I said, well, okay, now this is a 3-hour piece here. I'm like, so, Vincent Perry, what am I supposed to do here with this thing?
What can I do?
And he says, my director of photography that I have, said, let's just shoot it all, and then we'll figure it out later. So I called Vincent and I said, what do I do with this? And he said, well, why don't you pitch it as a miniseries? And I'm like, well, yeah, okay. I said, but this is my first time going at something like this, so I don't even know how to pitch it as a, I know how to piggyback off of what you did with the Life of Shoes, and pitch it as a feature film in the theaters. I know I can get my money back like that, but as far as a miniseries, we're talking about streaming channels, we're talking about pitching it to people that I don't even know how to get to and stuff. But until I casted one of the guys that plays the grandfather, and he ended up getting casted onto a film, Cristiano Brothers, onto a film that Cristiano Brothers are a big-time Christian filmmaking group that have been doing this since the 70s. And they're huge in the Christian filmmaking world. So he told them about me, and they invited me up to, I think, Laurel, Mississippi, up north, and I got introduced with them. And they said, we'd love to help you distribute it after you're done and stuff like that. So it's still, I'm still trying to figure out, now do I, do the theatrical release with just a 2.5 hour film, and then maybe later on add the rest of it, and then pitch it as a mini. I don't know. That whole thing, I'm still,
But as you go forth in doing it, I'm pretty sure that you'll know exactly what to do. Once
Well,
you
he's
get
gonna point me in the
yeah,
direction. Yeah.
because it sort of reminds me of when we were growing up. My mother is a apostle, and she used to take us to see a play called Heaven Gates and Hell Flames. I don't know if you ever seen that, but it was like a real life drama. You had the people that were, good going to church, they go to heaven. Then you had the people that were partying, doing cocaine, drinking, and they get in a car accident, and they enter into hell. And then so that was the first reality stage play that I seen. And they made it into a DVD. A movie. So it went everywhere on the Gulf Coast, and I don't know if they're still doing that production, but it was one of the greatest productions here. Yeah, so your movie, Sword of the Spirit, it sort of reminds me of what we're getting ready to see, in this movie. We get ready to see some spiritual warfare, what Jesus is, and the enemy, how he plays on our minds.
Sure.
So I'm glad.
How to overcome it. I'm trying to,
Yeah.
I'm trying to help with people the understanding of what's going on. And in this film, they can take this
help them, yeah.
Surrender possibly, and definitely pick up that sword and start swinging
And
away.
start fighting. Welcome back, everybody, to the Lavish Show. I'm talking with Mr. J. Ashton. Let's piggyback off of the movie Sword of the Spirit. What is the next step in your career after writing this extensive play and movie and producing it and, going through your testimony in this movie? What other project are you working on? What's next?
So this film that comes out, Sword of the Spirit, is going to be under my newly launched production company called Holywood Films.
Holywood Films.
It's a motion picture ministry. It's going to be it's going to be, I said Holywood, because obviously I'm from LA and where Hollywood's at. It's, what Hollywood's putting out right now, it's just, I'm trying to give the people a little bit more substance to chew on, than just the filth and the trash that's going on, that's just feeding the youth and just, you see what's going on with kids today and just society, and it's just, so instead of making film and entertainment, instead of telling the youth or our culture and society and the people to don't look at this, don't listen to this, instead of just saying that, I'm kind of, in my way, giving them an alternative.
That's right.
On what to watch that's just as entertaining, not too much, I don't want to say, how a lot of Christian film gets a bad
churchy,
rap.
a lot of churchy.
They get the corny, Christian film and stuff like that. So with my film here, it's called Sword of the Spirit. I joke and say, well, this is a Christian film with the double edge.
Oh, wow.
So
I love that. When I was growing up, I used to tell my mom, the only Christian movies we got are the old Sodom and Gomorrah, Ten Commandments, Samson and Delilah. They were just so old, archaic. Young people are not going to watch that.
Right.
You need something with some edge, what we doing now.
Exactly. Well, and a lot of the Christian film too, no offense, I know, a lot of the filmmakers too that are just, that they got the right intention, they're trying to spread the gospel, they're trying to spread the word, put a good message out there, which is cool. However, I know from myself growing up and watching Christian film and stuff like that, in turn from watching some other stuff, trying to watch something positive, or uplifting or something, more positive nature. It's just, it's like a lot of it is almost, it's some of it's too preachy. Some of it's, some of it's not a lot of people who come from where I come from anyway can relate to a lot of the stuff that's going on in there. So with my film and with my approach to the stuff that I'm going to be putting out, I'm trying to, as Jesus said, leave the 99 and go after that one.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to, if I have to go in deep with it, and I'm ready for critics, and I'm ready for people to come at me with, is this really a Christian film? Because you got this and this. Well, no, this is my take on it. This is my experience on
right.
So it absolutely is it might be edgy, it might be something that people who aren't from that life, but I know the people who are from that life might be the ones that I'm here to reach. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And that's really where I'm going.
That's what it's about.
You know what I'm saying? So
Reaching the lost. That's right.
That's
and
right.
I love
You know,
that.
and there was a saying that somebody said one time that really stuck with me, and they said, "We're not trying to build a museum for the Christians. We're trying to build a hospital for the sick."
That's right.
So that's really what I'm.
That's
going
what
with
it's
it, you know what I'm
about. So what is your wisdom, that you're gonna, want to give? Because, most people that I bring on the show, I want them to reach out to the audience that wants to get into film and acting. But with you, it's so much in depth with you. I'm going to bring you back on my other show, Up Close with the Prophets, so we can talk about ministry. But what do you want to tell our listeners today? It might be a young person out there that want to get into acting. It might be a young person addicted to drugs. It might be an older person that's struggling in their marriage. What could you tell our audience? I just want you to share, Joshua Ashton. Just share you.
I'm gonna share something, and then I'm gonna probably, maybe if it's okay, close it with a prayer / poem that I wrote.
Perfect.
Right? Okay. Because this is actually something, when I was filming Sword of the Spirit, I went inside the jail, like I was talking about, and I had some actual prisoners come and fill the scene in that I actually was able to tell my testimony to, because that scene is shown at the end of the movie, not to give away my stuff here, but at the end of the film, it's showing me actually what I'm really trying to do in real life is to actually go out to these places where the lost and the sick and the the ones that are suffering, the ones that are just out there that aren't really grasping, what's going on, and kind of just give them feed them some. So when I went to the prison, I told my testimony. I'd like to go to rehabs. I'd like to go to youth, Rex, whatever, and just so what I would like to just go ahead and tell, my message, I guess, to anybody listening that's out there that's just struggling with addiction or struggling with just being pulled out there in the street. You lay with dogs, you're bound to get fleas. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't. Let's not just put ourselves in any kind of circumstance, in any kind of environment, and just allowing the world to just kind of feed us what they're going to feed us, and us just soak it up, and then all of a sudden turn around saying, well, why am I out where I'm at, or what's going on here? Be intentional on what you're listening to, what you're feeding yourself. What you feed yourself in your diet is not just what you eat. It's what you're listening to, it's what you're watching, and it's going to manifest itself into your life in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be very intentional what you're taking in, because it's going somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And that's definitely how the enemy is going to, take ground and really be tactical on his approach to get into to your psyche. And really, his job is to what? Kill, steal, and destroy. You know what I'm saying? And you see it all over the place now. Families are broken up, and this and that, and I mean, it's just, so you gotta stay, fully armored up every day, and that's my whole message is to put on that armor daily.
That's right.
Put on that helmet of salvation. Put on that breastplate of righteousness. Put on the belt of truth. Put on the shoes of peace. Pick up that shield of faith and swing at them with the sword of the Spirit. You know what I'm saying? So definitely armor up every day, because you're going to be defenseless, and you're going to be vulnerable to these darts that are going to be thrown at you on a daily and in many different fashions that you're not going to be aware of, because you're just blind to them, because you're sitting out here ripping and running and just being clueless and mindless about what you're listening to, what who you hanging around, what kind of place you.
That's right.
So you just gotta be intentional, because I mean, if not, the streets will eat you up and spit you out. Trust me, I know this. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Awesome. So, go into your poem, or let us hear it.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. And this is something that I think we all can relate to, something that we can all benefit off of hearing and carrying with us on a daily. And this is actually a poem and / prayer that I told to the prisoners and stuff that they really were digging, because we all can relate to it.
Wow. Okay.
So it goes a little something like this. Ready? Dear God, sometimes I feel myself slipping away into this ongoing battle with my soul every day. The devil's got his army plotting and scheming, trying to recruit soldiers onto his team of demons. Every step I get closer to being set free. Here goes the same old same, temptations trying to tempt me. That's gonna get my spirit torn apart while I'm trying to keep it intact. Ducking and dodging, bobbing and weaving while I'm under attack. Somebody give me my holy armor so I can go at them stronger. The helmet of salvation to block out these evil temptations. The chest plate of righteousness so I can keep going on fighting this. And get ready with the sword of the Spirit. The words of the Bible, I need to open up and hear it. Now I'm walking through the valley of the shadow of death, peeping around every corner like it's some kind of test. Haven't I been put through enough? Come on, enough is enough. I'm crawling to you on my hands and knees, begging for mercy, Master, please, Master, please. Just show me what you want me to do. What else do I gotta go through? I feel tired and beat up. Please help me to press forward. From the evils of this world, I'm trying to make it home to you, Lord.
Wow, Mr. Joshua Ashton, everybody.
Yeah, that's that. So,
Thank you.
yeah, thank
Awesome.
you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Well, tell us how to get in contact with you.
So my number is, no, I'm just playing. No,
They would love to know
yeah.
that.
So no, it's Facebook, J Ashton. Definitely follow us on Facebook. The movie, it's called Sword of the Spirit, the movie, and it's not just Sword of the Spirit, it's Sword of the Spirit, the movie. Is the Facebook page, and I say the movie because it was once a stage play. So
Right.
it kind of just, draws a little bit of attention to be like, oh, it's the movie. Like,
Yeah.
what was it before? Like, okay.
But it's
go see what
sword. I probably said sword.
Well,
It's sword.
I think the news lady said the same thing, and it was kind of, wherever you come from, I guess.
Mississippi.
That's a country.
Yes.
Salmon,
Yes. Okay.
tomato, I guess. So, but
So
yeah,
wait,
definitely.
so you're on Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook.
Okay.
I'm trying to get a little bit more proactive on social media because it's
Yes.
a huge part
Yes.
of the whole filmmaking and marketing and advertising and pumping this whole, building this audience. And
Yes.
that's a whole job within itself. So I'm honestly probably gonna have to just hire somebody to do that for me.
Yeah.
I got so much going on that's just I'm fairly bad at it, but I have some people that's helping me out. My assistant Kelly. Shout out to you. I love you. She's helped me out a lot with the production that's going on. That's my assistant. Producer.
Awesome.
But yeah, just follow us on Facebook, and then everything will come to follow after that.
Alright.
And we'll keep you updated through our Facebook page. So, Sword of the Spirit, the movie, on Facebook.
All right, everybody. You heard from Mr. Joshua Ashton. He's here today on the Lavish Show. Make sure you subscribe to his Facebook page and whatever else he has going on. Just follow him. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with my outro. Be blessed.
From my block to your block, we are here to stay. Jesus all day, every day we pray for a change to come. He's the only way to escape the pains of yesterday. From my block to your block, we are here to stay. Jesus all day, every day we pray for a change to come. He's the only way to escape the pains of yesterday. As I look out of my window, see babies on the corner selling that dope, trying to make another donor out of a man being deprived of a need. Could only be self-expressed when he followed his needs. Give thanks to the Father who all blessed and flow. Stop murdering your brother who buys your dope. Let's give him a helping hand and fix his need from society. Butcher his mind as they please. Word up to all the knowledge learned on the street, but it doesn't give peace to the prostitute and need pimp. We keep it pimping when we chase paper trail. Life is good until everything else fails. Message, the real message is to follow Yeshua. Give him your life and